Out of the way. I've got business with this one. Halt, who goes there? Well, how do I put it? It's the sole heir to the glorious empire you so serve. I go wherever I choose. Now then, let me ask you this. Would you rather be on this side of the prison door or the other? Look at how you stutter. Where did all that gusto go? Good. Let it stay that way. Well then, do I have to repeat myself? And what are you waiting for? Do you want to be the next star of the next public execution? Well, look who it is. If it isn't the infamous thief who broke into the royal treasury, finally caught. Who knew the royal gardener would be so secretly eyeing the kingdom's crown jewel? Did father not pay you well enough? I specifically told him to pay you handsomely, since you would eventually become my personal gardener. Most commoners wouldn't even receive 1 golden coin per year, let alone 10 of them, but oh my, weren't you a greedy one? Oh, and here I thought I knew you well enough, my little thief. How disappointing. You're innocent. Well, didn't the guards find the jewels hidden beneath your bed? Someone framed you. Well, I suppose that such a cunning thief wouldn't just leave the jewels hidden so plainly, but how am I meant to believe you, little tulip? Yeah, I've known you for so long, but then again, what a ploy that would be, to trick the crowned heir into lowering her suspicion. I must congratulate you on this wicked mind of yours. Oh, struggling to find an excuse, are we? Huh? That was nothing. Fine. I give. I can't resist teasing you. You should have seen the cute worried look on your face. Huh. What's with that shocked look? Don't tell me my acting was that convincing. Well, I've got to say, those etiquette lessons Mother has been asking me to attend have sure paid off. Well, let's just say being a noble requires me to keep up a front at all times, and those skills must have transferred well into acting. Then again, I can't really admit that I did focus much on the lessons. I remembered how I would sneak into the gardens and hide with you among the bushes with the royal tutor shouting out for me. Good times. But I've got to say I wasn't expecting the innocently cute child I would hang out with would have turned out to be the master thief that got the kingdom in shambles. Was that all a facade too? So, how did you sneak past the palace guards in and out of the treasure? So, you were truly framed. Do I believe you? Of course, silly. I've known you since we were young. You're too pure to ever do something like this. Even now, I can still see the joyful, innocent child playing around in the fields, tending to the flowers, and comforting me whenever I felt down. A kind soul like yourself would never be capable of doing something that would break my heart. Well then, how do you plan to get out of this mess, huh? No clue. I promise I'll get you out of this mess with everything in my power, dear. There's nothing you have to worry your pretty little head about. Huh? What brought me here today? What? Can a royal not visit a childhood friend who just so happens to be the most wanted thief in the kingdom? To be honest, I've been worried about you ever since I heard that they caught you. You've been constantly on my mind. Did the guards treat you badly, little tulip? No? That's good to hear. But you seem so out of it, dear. Is anything troubling you? Sleepless night, huh? Well, don't worry. I made arrangements to refurbish the cell with the most comfortable beds. It's going to be all right now, little tulip, when I'm here. Won't the king be against this? There's no way he would ever find out about this. My guards are very loyal to me, and either way, I'm sure I can convince Father to allow this. Your childhood friend does have a lot of power, you know. Impressed? On that note, that lines things up a bit. The guards seem to have discovered clues that link to the crime to your coworker, the botanist. It seems like this was all a ploy to divert the kingdom's attention to make off with other items within the royal treasury. Who would have thought that the botanist was so cruel? Right, Tulip? Throwing you aside for their own personal gain, and here I thought that there would be honor among coworkers. I always had a bad feeling about hiring them. I kept telling Mother that you would be enough to tend the gardens, but she kept ignoring me. If all things go well, you'll be out of the cell by the end of next week, dear. What's with that worried look? I mean, you were betrayed by your coworker. Who would have guessed, right? Whoa, you don't need to defend them. Your coworker tried to ruin your life. You would have been thrown into the guillotine immediately if it weren't for me. No need to get aggressive. What do you mean it can't be them? Kind? Gentle? Do I have to remind you where you're locked in right now? I'm trying to protect you here. I don't know if you're too kind-hearted or dense, but they turned on you. And yet, I can't seem to sense a semblance of anger in you. But don't worry. I'll help protect you. I'll feel that anger for you. I'll punish anyone who dares to harm you, little tulip. You'll take the blame for the crime? When are you going to give it up? Stop trying to protect them. What have they even done for you? Why do you always pick them? I'm not just going to let you die because of their actions. I'm sorry, Tulip. I didn't mean to get angry at you. It's just, you mean a lot to me. I can't imagine a world without you in it. You know, we've known each other since we were young, and you're the only one that truly understood me. I can't. You mean too much to me. I can't ever lose you. How about we stop talking about this today? Let's not dwell on such pains. I'll let you rest for now. What about I tell you a story to bring you to sleep? Maybe that will let you rest on the hard prison floor, just like old times while we were hiding away from the tutor. What do you say? I knew you could never resist that. Well, get comfortable, rest on my lap, and let's begin. There was once a princess poised to succeed the throne. She was known far and wide for her beauty, grace, and kindness, but forced to spend countless hours perfecting her image. Grueling hours which the royal wanted, oh so desperately, to end. To the princess, the world was a dim one, a cruel one, a colorless one without any joy, love, or comfort, made only to fulfill her parents' wishes and to do what was expected of her. Eventually, she accepted her confines to this tragic fate, a simple, lonely pawn to continue the growth and glory of the empire. One day, the heir continued her lessons as per usual, learning about the politics of the world and the important ties beyond the empire. All a bore, of course, but necessary for the relations of the empire. Her tutor had left to pick up more parchment, leaving the princess to dwell upon her thoughts, her only form of freedom, though still confined. A simple, drifting daydream. She wanted to take off and run away. A momentary escape from the mundanity of it all, a slight chance of freedom, to explore, to temporarily flee from the heavy burden she carried, but run to where? The princess had lived so confined to fulfilling her role that she had long forgotten any joys from outside the castle. That's when a soft tapping on the window of the room could be heard, breaking the air out of her lackadaisical daydream. A soft rustling could be heard from among the trees, where a child suddenly popped out, scaring the princess almost half to death. "Let's go," the child said, taking the heir by the hand, leading her into a world unknown to the princess. Dragging her into the gardens where they hid from the guards, enjoying the company of each other and exploring the nooks of the castle. The child brought her to a secret spot within the garden, which was personally grown under the watch of the royal gardener, the child's father. It was the most beautiful sight that she had ever seen. Fields adorned with a kaleidoscope of flowers, their vibrant hues dancing in the gentle breeze. The fragrance of the flowers permeated the air, casting a dreamlike glow upon the landscape. In the center stood a sole, brilliant purple patch of tulips, a sign of royalty and the child's favorite flowers, a sight that still lingers within her mind. Oh, how time passes when you're having fun. Soon the princess had to go back to the palace as the sun fell beyond the hills. But before they departed, the child handed a single tulip to the heir as keepsake for their adventures, something she still cherishes to this day. Despite the scolding she had received when returning to the castle, the smile on her face wouldn't go away. The memories of the gardens and, most importantly, the child dwelled upon her mind, leaving a tinge of joy to her life. She fell for him that day. As time passed, the heir and the child went upon countless adventures, exploring every inch of the castle, even sneaking out to enjoy the pleasantries of the town. Her love only deepened as her heart yearned for a connection she feared would never come to be. A forbidden love barred by the royal norms. However, the child soon fell in love with someone else, while the princess was left in the lurch. only for her to one day find the child crafting a bouquet of tulips for another. The sorrow, the pain, a deep grief began to overwhelm the air. She ran away without ever speaking, being too afraid to even face the child. As time passed, she continued to dwell upon the thoughts of their countless adventures. Rage replaced sorrow. The air resented the one who snatched her lover away, and that's when it clicked. She simply needed to get rid of the competition. That way, there was no need to share your love anymore. So, how did you like the story? That's quite the shocked expression, dear. I can't do this? Of course I can, silly. I'm the sole heir to the throne. Anything I want will be given to me. My guards? Well, they only listen to me. All personally handpicked by me from the streets and completely loyal to me. How would I have been able to plant that jewel under your bed or to slip a piece of evidence linking that ledge to the crime then? They've especially been very helpful in keeping an eye on you, reporting to me about every tiny thing you did. They are all dancing in the palm of my hand, little tulip. You will reveal everything? Oh dear, we can't have that happening now, can we? How can we settle this, dear? Who would the public believe? The gardener who was recently accused of this accursed crime, or the poor, fragile me, an innocent royal with the love of the people? Oh my, it seems you're still insistent on leaking everything. Now, that can't do. So how can I convince you, poor dear? Well, maybe if I remove that skank from the picture, you'll become more compliant. I can't do that? Oh, but I can, Tulip. And who will stop me? Of course, I could always ask the guards to keep you locked up, to become my personal plaything. Now, that's an expression I've never seen before. I'm too used to your smiles, but my, I may like this one better. I'll offer you 2 insignificant options. You could give in, come to me, and I'll pamper you, giving you anything you want, and, of course, your little fling also gets to live. Or I could simply take what I want, dear. Does that sound good? Honestly, I prefer the latter, but I think the former may be more appealing to you. Hard to decide, Don't worry, dear. You'll have plenty of time to think about your options while staying in this cell. 2 choices. Make it count. I'll visit every day, dear. I'll never leave you alone, little thief.